So I told you a couple of days ago about this very serious situation that Lil Durk is facing. He's already been hit with federal murder for hire charges, but now prosecutors are apparently considering hitting him with another murder for hire charge as well as an attempted murder. Now, I did a big breakdown about 6 murders that I think, in my opinion, allegedly Lil Durk's name has been attached to, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they add the additional murder of Stefan Mack to the Lil Durk murder for hire indictment, but honestly, I think there's another murder that is even more damning for Lil Durk, and it really wouldn't surprise me if they throw this third murder at him. Now, the fourth, fifth, and sixth murders, one of them is so old and so in the past that I don't think that I think it's too late for anyone to connect Durk to this. I think if they could, they would. And, you know, a couple of them are cold cases that I think could warm up potentially. But yeah, I think that Lil Durk, he might end up facing 3 bodies. Look, I know a lot of people are going to be mad, all the Durk Glazers, all of the Durk Copers that love to say he's coming home. I don't think he's coming home, and I think that he might be getting hit with a second murder charge next week, and I think a third murder charge isn't far behind. So in this video, I'm going to just break down to you guys once again, I'm going to recap once again, the third murder charge that I think they're going to hit Durk with, not the one that he's already been charged with, Lil Pab, not the one that they're apparently going to charge him with next week, which is Stefan Mack. I'm talking about the murder of FBG Cash. All right? Yeah, I said it. Okay? FBG Cash, he was known as one of the biggest ops of O Block, of the Black Disciples, of OTF, the BDs, everybody absolutely hated FBG Cash. And one of the murders that I would connect Lil Durk's name to, the murder of FBG Duck in August of 2020. And Lil Durk, allegedly, all right, his name was in the paperwork. His brother D-Thang would have been connected to that murder if he hadn't already been killed himself before the trial happened. And if King Von hadn't died in 2020, a few months after the murder of FBG Duck, I know they would have wrapped King Von up in it as well. So the murder of FBG Cash was the next biggest name that they could get their hands on. And in my opinion, I think Durk had something to do with it. Call me a snitch, all it, but all the evidence is there. And I think they're going to charge him with this eventually because no one's been charged over this. So I want to just cast your mind back. Okay, FBG Cash. All right. He was one of the most hated ops from over there. All right. He was one of the most hated gangster disciples. He's from St. Lawrence Street. Okay. FBG Cash. All right. Just in case you're completely unfamiliar with FBG Cash. Okay. If you don't know anything about Cash. All right. This is him. He was a prolific rapper. All right. Who came from Chicago. He was locked in with FBG Duck, you know, FBG Young, all of the guys. All right. Is that Wooski right there? Okay, shout out to Wooski, man. So look, Dutchie, everybody. He was, unfortunately, a trophy for his enemies, you know, and he was despised by some of the most prolific BDs in the city. King Von, famously having words with FBG Cash all the way back in 2012. This is a back and forth. Cash said, at Taekwon Assassin, which is KI, the female that King Von allegedly killed that was terrorizing the BDs, he added her, said, I want to meet King Von face to face. I like him. I want to meet him too. All right. She said she want to meet Von face to face. And King Von, he clapped back to FBG Cash, said, on BD, you don't want that, man, because I'm going to F around and meet y'all when you ain't expecting it. You know. And then Cash clapped back at King Von. He said, why you got to woof and make this shit something else? I'm grown. I never tried to treat you, kid. I can care less about bumping heads. And then Von said, you're going to get effed over. He wanted to kill him for years. Cash clapped back. He wasn't scared of Von. He said, I don't think you're going to learn, shorty. Ask about me. My name holds weight. Von clapped back. He said, LMAO, you a bitch to me, homie. You and everybody you rock with. You know, if I start coming back outside, we F around and bump heads or something. They said, if you start coming back outside, we're going to mess around and bump heads or something. And Cash said, funny shit, I'm always out. I'm just getting money while you lack. Ask your bitch about me on Tuka. And then basically Von would clap back. He said, I don't got no bitch and I don't never lack. Ask your dudes what King Von be on. And Cash said, I'm through tweaking with you, my dude. Be careful out there. I still like you, kid. Your name ringing. Just don't make the paper. So he's basically saying, yeah, I'm hearing you got a couple of murders. 2012, Von probably had a couple bodies to his name at this point. This would be what, October 30th? Von might have caught a body the night after this exchange. I'm not going to lie to you. But he caught even more bodies in 2014. So Cash saying, look, we know your name ringing out there, but you ain't making no bread. He said, you better be careful with me. All right. Now, your name ringing just don't make the paper. It's crazy. Okay. Is he saying you don't make the paper, you ain't making money? Or is he saying your name ringing, just don't make the paper, as in don't get killed, or don't be on the paper in front page news of you essentially either getting killed or getting done for murder? So ain't no reasoning with this dude Von, but I get it. He was saying it's got to be hard trying to talk shit to a dude that's known for shooting shit, and a couple of your people included. They're saying, did Cash ever even shoot anyone? So people don't know. All right. Since Cash said he liked him in that third slide, I can tell he really had respect for Von, but Von ain't have no respect for him. Okay. So I'm going to break it all down to you. Okay. According to some rumors, okay, Cash actually might have had a run-in with Von. Cash might have actually shot Von. There's a rumor going around. They're saying when King Von got grazed in 2012, he in crutches, he got hit. They're saying it was allegedly KI and FBG Cash's work. So they're saying Cash might have shot up Von. All right. And that was before that Twitter exchange. That would have been like 20 days before that exchange. V-Roy said, I ain't no lame. I got to get shot in my leg for us to be cool. That is crazy. Now, a lot of people thought he was talking about KI. Basically saying, I ain't no lame. I got to get shot in the leg. So people were saying he was flirting with KI. Obviously, he killed her 2 years later. And then he's tweeted again. He said, I'm going to kill this bitch. Hashtag hack tweet. Right? But they saying Cash might have been on that drill. All right? People saying hacked tweet. Right? People tell you that was T-Roy moving smart on socials. Oh, okay. This was King Von's homie T-Roy right after Von got shot. Basically saying he's going to kill that bitch. All right? And saying this is why Von got down on KI. And he was with Big A and T-Roy, or just Big A. All right? So they're saying it was Von and Big A that killed KI. But anyway, okay, there were a lot of people that had issues with FBG Cash. Munna Duke, one of the most infamous members from O Block, okay, who unfortunately lost his life. I believe it was just last year. Munna Duke, you know, he really had it out for Cash too. So this is apparently FBG Cash kind of gunning for Munna Duke, basically on his IG live and on his stories. So this is New Cash 063 showing off a whole stack of money. He said, at Munna Duke, you can't find this on Google. This fetty money, lil bro, dollar for dollar. He basically trying to say he getting money. I mean, his nickname is Cash, and all the guys over there in O Block are broke. That's what he trying to say. He's saying, Munna Duke, you ain't going to find this sort of money on Google. You ain't going to find this picture.
Hey, Duke, listen to me, folks. Listen to what I'm saying, folks. Pull your motherfucking skirt down, folks. You not making no noise, folks. I'll ball you up and put you in the garbage can, boy. You can't see me with binoculars, dude. You can't see me on no type of level, folks. You better stop sharing them bankrolls with niggas, folks. I don't see you, nigga. You can't beat me on the song. You can't beat me at fighting, spit, none of that weightlifting, motherfucking. Nigga, we can pitch quarters. You can't beat me, dude. You hear me? You hear me? Take time, try to get some followers up, nigga. Man, hey, look here. Go to your room.
So he trolling him, telling him go to his room. He's trying to be his daddy, right? And, you know, this was part of a longer back and forth. Basically, Munna Duke said, Clout Boy. Cash said, you mention folks first. Keep your head up. Duke said, I ain't hiding. Cash said, I ain't looking for you. Duke said, I know you ain't. You better not. Cash laughed. Duke said, what, you trying to get your followers up? And which one you know? I got so many. And then he just sent that voice note, sending him to his room. Lil bro and him. And then Duke posted back a bunch of jokes. Crying emojis said, women lie, men's lie, numbers don't. You can't see me in nothing. Now, it just goes to show how juvenile these street beefs are. He's talking about, oh, you can't beat me in fighting, running, basketball. We can pitch quarters. You ain't going to beat me. Like, you guys having a real... You guys about to might as well go have a triathlon out here instead of killing each other. That'd probably be something more positive. But here's the thing, okay? Unfortunately, they would run into each other at certain times, and sometimes it would even be outside of Chicago. So Cash was allegedly caught outside by members of OTF in Atlanta, where they was rolling very rolling very strong at the time. It says throwback to when Day from Tay-Town at OTF caught FBG Cash at Lenox Mall and punched him before chasing him out the mall with other OTF members, including OTF DD. Cash stayed solid and was about to square up, though. RIP to him. So this is the incident.
I know some hitters that'll draw some plenty of pain. I know some hitters that'll knock your ass out with the change. RIP my husband, my heartbeat will be the same. Ooh, what the hell?
that was pretty crazy. I'm gonna have to blur that. But you know, saying Cash walking up to square up after the punch, he is about to engage in an act of fisticuffs. So I know some hitters that'll knock you out for a piece of change. They're saying Cash had that man taking steps backward. Dudes are only brave in groups. They're saying he was genuinely scared. All right. Definition of sneaking a dude, then you're going to have the audacity to run away immediately after. How is that even respected? Chicago different as F, because on the West Coast, that's usually considered pussy, okay? If that big dude got hold of Cash, it would have been over with. That dude skipped his way in the mix like he was waiting all day, right? Sad that TTE ended up finishing the job after years later, saying and Craig let him do it. So obviously a lot of people believe that TTE was the crew that basically went and did the hits. There's two people on the hit, Mon and Mon for sure. One of them used to buy, for sure, one of them buy based on the claiming and pictures posted after the second person was likely from Tay-Town. Okay, you know that we did it. So as you're going to hear, all right, Lil Durk and his friends allegedly killed FBG Cash and bragged about it for years to come. And, you know, they're going to get mad at me for talking about it. Rather than getting mad at themselves for snitching on themselves and committing a heinous crime that they were never going to get away with. So anyway, there will be a viral clip of FBG Cash actually when he saw himself on the news. He was a funny guy, man. He was a cool character. Really didn't deserve to get murdered like this. This is a classic throwback of when Cash saw himself on the news, all right? This is pretty funny.
Criminal history that includes aggravated robbery and gun charges. This photo on his social media page appears to show him wearing 2 ankle bracelets. He went electronic AWOL in December. In his most recent case, he is charged with threatening a public official, a Chicago police officer, and his family. According to a department spokesperson, the officer was never notified that Hamilton ditched his ankle bracelet.
It's ridiculous because this is about public safety. The reason we put people
Fuck the police!
protect the public.
We repeat.
Look, he was a funny guy, man. He was funny as hell. Said he looked shocked like he ain't even know he did all that stuff, man. They put his ass on the spot. Do the courts really even give out 2 ankle bracelets to people on probation? I've never seen that. Apparently, if you're on probation in 2 different states, you can have a monitor in each state. Okay, put the man's social media up to 2 ankle bracelets. Then just going to look like, oh, Cash was different, right? So he was a cool guy. He was very interesting. But after King Von ended up getting killed in the whole situation with Quando Rondo, that was a completely separate beef. King Von put his foot in it, in an industry beef. He started beefing with NBA Youngboy. Didn't take him seriously enough as a real grave digger with hella bodies, getting people knocked off left, right, and center. Got killers all around him. He was playing with Youngboy. Ended up swinging on one of Youngboy's homies, got killed instantly. A very unfortunate situation, but it had nothing to do with the beef in Chicago. But when Von died, some people feel like Cash ultimately marked himself for death when he did this, okay? This was an extremely disrespectful post that Cash made. Now, they got rid of this in the end, but for a while, outside of O-Block, there was a King Von mural. Obviously, O-Block being Parkway Gardens, that's the hood that he hails from. But, you know, there was a mural for King Von, and it kind of became a very known trope for, you know, his ops to basically pull up and take a picture. Also, King Von's friends, anyone to pay tribute to him. And FBG Cash posted up at the spot not too long after Von died, and he put a very disrespectful comment. He said, "Whole world witness your main sniper get his shit splat. 1:30 p.m. Central Time, letting everybody know exactly where he's at." He pulled up to the op block. He was very brave to even do this. Now, this was actually probably about a year and a half, maybe, after Von died. Now, Durk would respond to this incident on his song Computer Murderers. Again, not a great look when you're getting in front of a jury. Computer Murderers for you guys there. Very misguided thing to put out there. But anyway, he would diss him and basically say, "Sneaking pics by Von mural like Lil Bro won't come out and spin. He ain't hurt a fly, so he don't count. I still give him 10. So basically, he's saying, you know, FBG Cash shouldn't have done that. He was basically, you know, Cash was using the picture to basically promote his new diss song Back Again 2 times. And unfortunately, it would be a few months after this that he would get killed. Now, what's crazy, okay, is before he died, FBG Cash did an interview with No Jumper, and he said that Lil Durk personally told him to go and take a picture in front of Von's mural.
Okay, I got some fucking questions here. Let me dip in the phone real quick. Oh yeah, so why'd you take that picture with the King Von mural?
Durk told me to.
How did he tell you to?
He through text. Now he blocked me now, but yeah, through text.
What you want to show me your conversation with him?
Nah, he blocked me. He blocked me, motherfucking.
The conversation's still there, right?
Nuh-uh.
You delete text?
Yeah, like when I only see, I ain't big on confrontation sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like most times, I ain't big on confrontation. So when I go to him, I'm like, man, that was distasteful, man. Like,
what was
that we was talking
what
like
kind of
that,
conversation were you having before he told you to go take this photo?
Fuck me, fuck him. Go over there and do that and see what happened to you. I'm like, I'm outside right now.
You hit him up?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just like, hey, what's up? Why Chicago's so weird because the ops always be talking to each other and like going on live and tweeting at each other and shit.
Everybody, it's just the weird niggas because I be like, fuck y'all talking about.
I don't see a ton of that in LA.
I told Durk, stop sneak dissing me before he left me on scene.
Really? So you kept barking on him?
No, I just left it. He left me on scene. I just left it alone in the DM.
Right.
Yeah, so that was obviously a bad idea, but you can tell Cash was not scared of Lil Durk or King Von one bit. And after Von died, he was quite happy to just disrespect him in front of everybody's faces. He was a real gangster. So FBG Cash also released this song Back Again 2 times, okay? And this a remix of, you know, Durk and Von and Prince Dre's Back Again, which arguably I will probably say controversially best Chicago drill song ever made. Yeah. Best Chicago drill song ever made. Back Again, all right? The hardest. I ain't trying to squash no beef. We into it till you die, real street. At your funeral, I might just slide. That's the best. Back Again is the best drill song ever made. Stamped merged. But FBG Cash did his own version of it, and he basically dissed Von. Obviously, this is after Von died. He also dissed Durk extensively and a bunch of dead people. And arguably, this... I mean, they already wanted to kill him, right? But arguably this actually is more of a real reason why they killed him than taking a picture in front of that. He dissed everyone. He said, they put your muscle in a wheelchair. That's a diss to Lil Varney from OTF. He said, therapy can't be working because that P-N-word's still here. This the rack and you don't live here is all aimed at Durk. I shot plenty dudes in the rack and pussy boy, I'm still here. I don't want to hear no Get Back. He's talking about Get Back Gang, which is basically the gang that was formed to avenge King Von's best friend T-Roy, who was killed. And he's saying ain't no Get Backs happening for King Von. And then he said exactly what he said in that caption. He said, the whole world witness your main sniper get his shit splacked and you ain't even lick back. He was saying they ain't got back for Von, which they hadn't got back for Von. It would be 6 months, nearly to the day, until Lil Durk would allegedly get back for Von, right? And throw his whole life away because of people like this clowning him. Very dumb. But it says, dude's lying, play with one of mine, somebody getting gift wrap. Hold up, I hear Pluto talking. And said, remember, Crump was telling me he couldn't wait to split in Pluto coffin. This is a reference to Mubu Crump, who was one of Lil Durk's biggest ops, who did unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you see it, get himself end up dying. And this is a reference to Pluto from Durk's hood, someone he was very close with, who passed away. So that's that. And then he starts dissing people from 600 who Durk's affiliated with, but, you know, it's not his crew, but he's dissing a bunch of dead people. Waldo. If you want to know about all of that, go and watch my 6-hour documentary about 600. Said, think it's sweet, get did like J Money when Lil B popped out shooting targets. That's another O-Block member who got killed by somebody from Cash's hood. So I don't really mention dead guys, but Smoking Tooper gonna get you done like Cooper. Now you're making headlines. Cooper is obviously another member of 600 who also went by E-Day. He was shot and killed in 2021. Now I heard a crazy story about what really happened with him, but I can't tell you that online. I don't really mention dead guys, but Smoking 2 could get you done like Cooper. Now you're making headlines. Matter of fact, F all your dead guys. The city where we show no pity, pop out late like vampires. And then he disses Lil Durk's brother who got killed. He said, I don't want to go Club O no more. Dude's getting left in the door. And that's exactly where Lil Durk's brother D-Thang got killed. And he would slide for D-Thang. And that's what one of 3 murders. One of them is going to possibly get put on Durk next week. The murder of Stefan Mack. That was one of 3 get-backs for Durk's brother D-Thang. So he's in big trouble. It said, gang in this bitch, caught banging his bitch. Heard Gra left Blaines on the floor. Look at what happened to D-Thang. They know how we came. So he's low-key taking responsibility for it, but he might also be referring to another D-Thang from 600. There's two D-Thangs who unfortunately both got killed. So anyway, this might well be the exact reason. This verse, these words that came out of Cash's mouth on this song, that might be why Durk wanted to kill him so bad. That might be a motive. And you might be seeing those lyrics in a courtroom trial near you very soon. So this was a Lil Durk post and delete story responding directly to FBG Cash's diss song. This is in March 2022. And this was just 3 months before Cash was murdered. He said, don't diss D-Thang if you be lingering and chasing hoes. It won't end well, that's merged. So he's basically promising to kill FBG Cash here. Says, I say when you chase them what you see, he say he chased his soul, get on his ass, he gonna be easy, he chasing hoes, stand over him, the last thing you see, that's my favorite post, pose the voice. So this is more lyrics, all right, from Durk's song Risky, where he's actually claiming this murder. And there's a bunch of lyrics, okay? It said, well, he did warn him from the outside looking in. Them boys been putting in pain in them Chicago streets lately. I don't know why the internet be playing with him. Sounds like they've been watching his moves for a while. Cash should have known better and moved smarter. Going to war against a multimillionaire is crazy, especially if you're still in the city knowing they got connects. I think it's safe to say OTF is responsible for Cash death. So if everyone on Reddit knows this, you think the prosecutors don't know. You think the prosecutors are dumb. You think these guys on Reddit are smarter than prosecutors that do this for a living. Okay. So during an interview right before his murder, Cash would talk about being dissed by Durk, basically, okay? And this would be one of his last interviews, and he would mention the original song Back Again, which unfortunately for Cash is the greatest drill song ever made, but he did do his own remix. But basically, this is him reacting to Lil Durk and Von, mentioning him on that song Back Again. Let's hear it. Internet bugging today.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Blasting sex. I don't even ask when it comes to Cash. They catch a blast sex.
That's Durk. That's my cousin.
Oh, so you know that song?
Yeah.
How do you?
I wrote that bar.
You wrote that part.
Right.
So you're a ghostwriter?
No, I'm like, you know how you get in the booth and motherfucker like, what's my next bar? I'm like, put me in there. And we just rocked it out like that. And he fucked with me no more after that. He took my credits out. He took my percentage off that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't care?
That's still my cousin. What?
Is it a good song?
Oh, hell no. Durk could have came better. No, that's my thug. That's my blood thug. Well, he could have came better. I put some shit in your ear, bro. Like, I make niggas want to dye their hair. Black in here, so like, I got that shit. He can't fuck with me, bro.
So he trolling, he's saying, I wrote that song. They're saying, dude trolled a little too much, but it was necessary to an extent. I remember MFs was telling me that this wasn't a diss when Durk literally said, catch him. This wasn't no diss to Cash, though. This dropped in 2020 before Von passed. Cash wasn't even on their radar until he started dissing in 2022. That's cap. He was on Twitter beefing with Von, talking about who's going to catch you. He shot Von. He shot Von. Durk was saying you don't even ask when it comes to Cash. You catch and blast. No. All right, let's not be ridiculous. This kind of annoys me when people are like, no, Durk wasn't talking about that. Bro, Durk is the most talented penman in all of Chicago, and you think that he's not doing a double entendre based on the name of his most famous op. Blast his ass. Blast his ass. I don't even ask when it comes to Cash. They catch and blast his ass. Obvious, right? It's wild because the whole time I've been listening to that song, I always thought it meant I don't even ask when it comes to Cash. They catch him, blast his ass. I don't even ask how much they want him. I just tell him go. Then one day I read the lyrics. I'm like, this dude's saying when it comes to Cash, blast his ass. All right? People saying Durk wasn't dissing Cash, most likely your first. No, Durk was the most high-level penman in all of Chicago drill. Of course he was talking about Cash. Of course it was a double entendre. You guys, you Reddit commenters think you're smarter than Lil Durk. As much as I think Durk is a dummy for crashing out and throwing his life away, right? Yeah, he's dumb enough to do a murder for hire and leave an absolute trail of evidence and be in the city when it was happening. But he's smart enough to use the word Cash in two meanings, all right? So he did do that, all right? That song was, yes, he's referring to FBG Cash. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, he wasn't. Oh, no, he wasn't. He wouldn't say that. Durk would deny that because he don't want to get charged with murder. Because he's snitched on himself for years, right? So obviously the day would come. All right, you know, Durk basically gave clues and spoilers for months and months and months and years, and eventually Durk's hitters would allegedly catch up with Cash, all right? Ain't even got to ask when it comes to Cash, they catch and blast his ass. Well, they would actually do that on June the 22nd of 2022. Cash would be killed, and there would be numerous people that were apparently at the scene.
Well-known Chicago area rapper was killed in a drive-by shooting early this morning in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton was shot multiple times. According to the Sun-Times, he raps under the name FBG Cash. A 29-year-old woman with him was also shot, taken to the hospital in serious condition. It is believed Hamilton fired back at the shooter. Police don't have anyone in custody, at least not yet. 2 years ago, another rapper close to Hamilton, known as FBG Durk, was also shot and killed.
Damn, all these murders, they're so similar. It's almost as if it's the same person or organization organizing these murders. I wonder if they'll ever wrap them all up in one big federal indictment. Anyway, immediately following the murder of FBG Cash, which was hinted at and teased by Durk relentlessly for years, bystanders who actually witnessed exactly what happened at the scene would discuss with the news what they thought or what they saw happen in this incident.
Is it a girl right there? I'm like, yeah, it's a girl right there.
It's a girl in there too?
She behind the black truck right there. She on the curb.
She got like, that's why I say,
That's her son.
how long they gonna let her sit out there though? She got like 2 bullet wounds.
They got
She alive?
She got a whole,
They got a turn to the But that's that lady's son though. She was laying up the street.
that's her son. The one that was talking.
The lady that I was standing on the corner.
Yeah, she just ran down there.
off.
She went back to the car. Show.
Woke me up.
Show did. Yes, they did.
That woke me up.
It did too. I'm telling you. Look, I rolled out. I said, what the was that?
It was like 3 different guns.
I don't usually even come to no window, but it was so close.
Yeah. I thought it was in the back.
That's gonna pull up. That's gonna pull up. What car was that?
It's a truck right here.
In the middle of the street, y'all.
They blocked me. Oh no, they stopped right there, but they couldn't go nowhere. They blocked that car because he got out of that truck. Yeah, he showed me.
He did?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's why he over there by that tree. Yeah, he tried to get behind that tree. I'm asking dude, I'm like, so what is they gonna do? What y'all doing? Why the thing over here? He talking about this thing count how many gunshots and this, that, nothing, where they coming from. I said the police was literally sitting in CVS lot. I'm watching this off my back porch. They sit in the lot. They did not move till after that shit over, after the car done sped off and turned the corner, and then the police moved out, didn't they? They did not. He waited.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, look, there was a lot of evidence left behind. There was a lot of witnesses, and the Chicago police and the feds like to drag their feet, but ultimately they do actually work these things out on a long enough timeline. Especially if you are the kingpin of an organization that's having bodies dropped left, right, and center. So immediately following the shooting, FBG Cash's cousin actually slid on O Block basically for immediate get back. This is what was going around. So this was apparently BG Lil Pat sliding straight to O Block to get revenge for FBG Cash. This was posted with the song Catch a Murder, and he said yesterday, broad daylight in O Block. Okay, now arguably you could say if he was posting it and tagging people, and not tagging people, but posting it and putting Catch a Murder song behind it, he wasn't really trying to catch a murder. He was possibly trying to catch some likes and some engagement. But basically, okay, following the murder of FBG Cash, members from O Block immediately started dissing him and disrespecting him, and this included photos fanning out stacks of cash as a way to diss FBG Cash. So there are a bunch of very sort of self-incriminating posts that went around. Okay, all right, I got it. Just a side note, if anybody out there has any idea what's going on, okay, my internet's not working today. Weirdly, like my phone, every page refreshes fine, but on my PC, like images don't be loading. It's a whole weird thing. Anyone know what could cause that? Because it's like, it just stops working. Anyway, this is Buck Munner, okay, O Block affiliate, O Block Young, and basically, okay, literally posting jewelry and new clothes and money the day after FBG Cash died. He's flexing, he's big flexing, he came up. What happened? Why did he come up? He came up quick around these dates, showing off cash to diss Cash. But also he came into some cash, right? People saying this is mental illness, saying he probably spent half his money on that fit alone. He's spending all that for a one-way trip to prison. Saying, bro, this doesn't mean anything. They don't give out payment that fast, bro. He was graduating from school that day. Right? That's fine. That's fine. Okay. But there's more. It wasn't just that. Buck Munner from O-Block, he recreated FBG Cash's mural pic the day after Cash died, holding a bunch of cash. Durk himself said taking pics at Von mural would get FBG Cash killed. Right? Yeah, you kind of want us to know. He was saying mental illness. He was saying, oh, there's hella people that took pictures there. He took a pic. Oh, what? He took a pic at the mural, so it means he killed Cash. It could be dude, but this doesn't prove anything. That's fine. That's fine. But like, there would just be a lot of weird little things going on with these O-Block youngsters, okay? So this would apparently be an intro for a Munna Duke song, and he had someone called, is this Hungun or Hungun performing voodoo? Is it Youngun? I don't know. Performing voodoo on FBG Cash and his ops. This was the intro of Munna Duke's song, right? And this was back just after it happened.
Oh, gang only. Dummy, zip him up. Dead on the right. Straight to the wall. Ain't make the hospital. Straight to the wall. The world wants supposed to have everybody twice singing everything but the women and everything but these legends. He walking on his cash out, but we ain't crashed out. Oh, gang only.
Did he just say smoking on this cash out, but we ain't crashed out? I don't know about that.
We ain't crashed out.
I think everybody, I think you guys crashed out. Actually, I think you might have crashed out.
Oh, gang only. Play ball. Can't play ball when you park. You can't play ball when you park.
So he's saying they cashed out, they didn't crash out. Now, this picture would say otherwise, right? He crashed out. All right, he did crash out. And it's embarrassing. But basically, okay, people saying it's demon shit, right? Basically, can't stand a 30-year-old man in the streets trying to impress the kids. I hear it, okay? But there was just, there was just like a relentless campaign to mock Cash, to make fun of him, to claim it, okay? This is Buck Munner, O-Block TSG. It's the younger generation of O-Block with an OTF change shortly after FBG Cash's death. He also went out of town to Atlanta with Munna Duke right after FBG Cash died. Here's the thing, we remember King Von distributing O-Block chains to people that took part in the murder of FBG Duck. The same thing just plays out over and over again. We got footage.
Shit, out here.
Telling me always out, nigga.
Every day. I'm out every day.
So, yeah. All right. I don't know. Some people saying he innocent. You know, do you have any idea how the killers of FBG Cash traced his location? I'm not even talking about Buck Munner or whoever did this. The girl was inside the car. I doubt she would have set him up and put her life on the line. Says, well, Ty Munner's mother lives on the same block Cash died at. Ty Munner's a part of TSG, which is the same clique Cash's killers are from. Interesting. All right. People saying, did he get charged with his murder? Not yet. Okay. People saying Buck Munner is innocent. Said when he gets arrested for it, we'll see if he's innocent. That was 3 years ago they've been saying this, right? So, anyway, okay. Here's a detailed explanation of how the hit went down from Chiracology so that you get, from Chirac Hits, actually. And this is going to give you more information, and this is going to help us decipher exactly what happened, okay? So it said there's so much false information about this case and no single thread which compiles all available information. Here is that thread, and it's no quick post. Well, we got time, baby. So they said, backstory of the murder. FBG Cash was also shot around 1 week before his death. This shooting took place possibly near 81st and Vincennes, 2 miles away from his murder scene, and Cash was also with Tasha West during both the shooting and murder. Prior to the shooting, non-fatal, we know that Cash was at Rap-A-Lot. Once he left, he would end up with Tasha at her home at around 4:20 a.m. While they were together, Tasha's boyfriend, likely a Chicago DJ whose name I won't mention, would continuously call her phone, probably wondering where she is and what she's doing. She said, I hope you don't come over here, referring to her boyfriend. A little while later, they ended up driving towards Cash's home. Cash was inside the passenger seat with the seat all the way back down. The girl was driving. She said something along the lines of, why are they always on me like this? Likely meaning the other driver was being erratic to her on the road. If it's true, this is very similar to when Cash was killed. The person probably in that vehicle would start firing, riddling their car with gunshots. He survived. So now going on to the fatal shooting, a few hours prior, we know that Cash was at a downtown nightclub. Not sure if Tasha was there with him or not, but while at the club, Cash would get into an altercation with unknown individuals. Soon later, they would both drive to a friend of Cash's, allegedly to do their thing. Next, what I'm assuming is that they were heading to Cash's actual house. I say this because he was killed literally 1 block away from his house and was also driving in the direction towards the house. At this point, his car would be blocked in by a newer model black Cadillac sedan while at the one-way street on 81st and Marshfield. The most logical explanation is that this Cadillac was already in front of Cash. Once they arrived at the intersection, they would stop the car. 2 shooters would exit the vehicle with a rifle and pistol. Cash would attempt to flee, but fell around 10 yards away when he was stood over and shot more times. So saying that this is where the Cadillac would have been, it stopped right in front of him and they jumped out shooting. Says if Cash took a turn right here, if Cash took a right turn here, his home would have just been down a few houses. It says, so they found a total of 23 spent shell casings on the scene. There were 14 casings of 7.62 39s and 9 casings of 40 calibers. He was hit 13 times in his head, neck, back, chest, left and right upper leg and left lower leg. The police would respond quickly and find him unresponsive, and he later died. Okay. It said in the reports, which I've seen, it only has demographics and descriptions for 1 suspect, but there were definitely 2 shooters. Only one is mentioned. It was a black male, 5'10" to 6'2" in height, with all black clothing. It appears that the shooting went down in 2 parts, 18 rounds. 7 seconds later, another 5 rounds. It could be incorrect, but that's what I found from the FOIA shot spotter data. If true, I would assume that the last 5 shots were to make sure he was dead. One caller mentions that they heard rapid gunfire 2 different times. In a video aftermath, someone mentions rapid gunfire. Not sure if it's the same person or not. After they started transporting the victims to the hospital, potentially an officer mentions possible camera footage, and the shooting probably was recorded on video. Now, these are unconfirmed rumors. Trench's News claimed the FBI got involved in the case. If the feds are getting involved, it means they want the big man at the top. He also said that the murder vehicle was found abandoned less than a week after the murder, possibly burned, but these aren't confirmed. Trenches has been caught lying multiple times, and he told me Cash's father gave him this info, but obviously just his words can't be taken as fact, and I found no records to prove this yet. A bit after Cash was killed, there was rumors on some articles and posts which said that the killers might have used a GPS tracker or an AirTag to track and kill him, but that's unconfirmed. So a citizen commenter, a possible witness, claimed that somebody dark-skinned with dreads stood over some man and continued to shoot him. I believe this to be a misunderstanding and wasn't about Cash based on a few reasons. First of all, only 2 minutes after that comment was posted, someone with the same name length and profile picture mentioned someone laying in an alley. Then the shooter returns there and shoots more. I believe these are the same commenters. The one who mentioned the dreads in the alley 2 minutes later, Cash was never even near an alley, and there are more reasons after the screenshot. Cash's shooting happened around 5:35 a.m. There was also another shooting which happened at 5:40 a.m., but this shooting happened inside an alley. That person was likely talking about this shooting, not Cash. The dark skin with dreads was likely about this case instead. So that's the shooting in an alleyway that went around. So debunked rumors. Some have said that Cash was backdoored by Big Dale. This isn't even true. Chris Barnes was the person who made this claim. He was also beefing with Big Dale right before he died, but it's no secret that he's homeless. I'm wondering how a homeless person would randomly stumble upon a top secret FBI police files, which shows that Big Dale dropped the location. He promised to release this document 8 months ago and he never did. Trench's News was claiming the same rifle was used to kill Steph and Mac, was also used to kill Cash. Whoa. Trench's... Bruh, he's cooked. If this... Look, we don't know if this is true, but if that's true, he's cooked. All right? But people don't believe that it's true. It's been debunked, but that's crazy. That just blew my... Even just the claim that even was like put on the table is wild, right? But it is debunked, I believe. So he basically was... He said he was basically playing around with his ass one day and thought it would be a great idea to make this up. Okay? I'd like to hear Trench's News' reasoning for this, but apparently it's made up. It says, first of all, the rifle used in that case wasn't even a 7.62 39. After I confronted him with this, he claimed it was the same ghost gun used in both cases. A ghost gun wouldn't magically change caliber and teleport out from police evidence. They found the rifle that killed Stefan on the same day of the murder. This murder took place many months before Cash was killed. Why would Cash's killer sneak into an evidence room, steal the rifle, kill Cash, and sneak it back in? Obviously, that's not what they're saying happened. So, yeah, I mean, Stefan Mack, he was killed months before Cash. So that that they're saying that they found the rifle that killed Steph on the day of the murder. Now I wonder if maybe, because it sounds like there were 2 guns used in this crime. I wonder if there were 2, because I'm pretty sure there were 2 shooters in the Stefan Mack case. But anyway, it's been debunked. All right, so they're talking about Cash's killer sneaking in the evidence room. Of course, that never happened. It says, Black Cadillac sedan. I've requested different FOIA data for all stolen vehicles, arson-involved vehicles, and tow records in Chicago. Since Cash was killed in June 2022, I went all the way back to January 2022 and even after the murder, and found no stolen vehicles or arson-burned vehicles that match this description. There are 3 good possibilities for this. Either the murder vehicle wasn't stolen or reported stolen, it was stolen from a different city or state, or this incident simply wasn't included in the data. For the tow information, I found a few incidents which may or may not be the same vehicle. I put these incidents in a map. Interesting. And it said there was one matching the description which was towed from 3 blocks away from where Cash was killed. There was another one 3 blocks away from O Block. These can obviously be a coincidence, but that's what I've noticed. Some people will claim this vehicle is pretty common in Chicago, which is not true like some think. The large majority of Cadillacs in the data are SUVs. By the chance you find a black sedan the year of it, they're almost always much older than the newer models which the suspects drove. Let's say a newer model is 2018 to 2022. I've only found 6 tow results that happened within 2019 to 2022. Other vehicles, like a similar black Fusion involved in the FBG Duck shooting, there's tons of those being towed within the same time frame. So here we go. Possible suspects, no proof. There are multiple names being mentioned online as to who might be responsible. Obviously, all 5 couldn't be involved together, and maybe even some of these, but these are the names that come up online. OTF Black, TTE Lil Ted, TTE Stain, O Block Buck Munna, and O Block Cam Slam. So it said there are 4 of them who made a couple strange comments allegedly towards Cash. The remaining one, Buck Munna, had dissed Cash and subliminally made comments about his death 15 plus times. Nearly every song he released came with shots towards Cash and allegedly towards him. Allegedly towards him. This is no true evidence, but should be mentioned. I'm not insinuating any of them did it. Kind of are. The crime scene. There's a few small things I've never seen people mention about the crime scene. Not only was Cash inside of a car with a dark tint, he was also in a dark hoodie too. It certainly looks like a targeted attack, and his killers probably knew that he was in there. There seems to be blood leading from one side of the car to the other. This could be glass, but HD photos on Google, it looks a lot like blood. The shots to the car are specifically towards the driver. There's no visible shots to the left of the windshield or even in the middle of the windshield, and there are multiple to exactly where Cash was sitting. Either the killers knew Cash was driving or Cash was insanely quick and started getting out once the killers started shooting. I lean more on his killers knowing that he was driving the car. Interesting. Car FBG Cash got killed in, no way. Says that's not a gunshot. Initially, I thought this portion of the middle windshield was a gunshot, but it's not. This was proven to be the video of the car. It was something from inside the car, but no gunshot. The only gunshots to the windshield are the far driver's side where Cash was sitting. It's probably one of them things where you can stick your phone on the windshield, right? Anyway. It says Cash had to navigate through those closely parked vehicles where he ended up near the yellow portion behind the tree. I mention this because in one specific Buck Munna line, he says AR had him falling into the car or something like that. The same thing might have happened to Cash before he died. AR had him falling into the car. Okay. It said, it appears that Cash was found with no shoes on. There is clear turns at the foot which are not visible when wearing shoes. It also has a grey portion, which socks usually have. I'm saying this because people in the comments say Cash was wearing shoes when he died, but based on Lil Durk rapping Knock You Out Your Shoes, he's clearly not in shoes when he died. Durk's got a bunch of songs about knocking people out their shoes, but you know who else wasn't in their shoes when they died? Lil Pab. Lil Pab. The shoes were at the scene. If you go and look at the footage of that, it is what it is. Okay. So it said the car that Cash would be driving would expire in June 2023. I mentioned this because he was shot a week previous to his death, which would be in June 2022. He likely got a new vehicle since the last one was shot up. This is likely the new car, which expires after 1 year. So there you go. So the data from CPD said the case was last updated on March the 13th, 2023. There is no motive yet for his murder that I know of. It still says undetermined. Hopefully, you know, hopefully nobody, provided some cash. And, hopefully nobody just did the murder without even asking for some cash, because they know when it comes to cash, they ain't even got to ask. They just catch and blast. right? Hopefully there's no evidence here connecting Lil Durk, but Durk, he's got a bunch of lyrics where he's connecting himself to this crime, right? That's his problem, okay? So anyway, that's basically what we've got. Killers were never arrested. You've got the death photos here. I'm not going to show you those. Police scanner, Cash talking about the first shit, all of that, okay? He was saying, great thread. I don't care who killed him. I just believe Cash was lacking like that. He should have known better. Rest in peace to him. Quality post. Shout out to the poster, all right? Fit statistician, okay? Got the incident report. Got everything about this. So, yeah, right? People saying not op work. They said the same. People have said that a million times, okay? Interesting. Very interesting. So, let me show you what's next. This is the most damning part of it, right? So Lil Durk and the OTF crew, they infamously dissed FBG Cash relentlessly. Not just lyrics about knocking people out of their shoes, not just lyrics before he died talking about they haven't even got to ask about Cash. When it comes to Cash, they catch and blast his ass. Okay. They would also mention very specifically where the murder took place. Now, I don't think you can see it. These images are blurred, thank God. But essentially, the body was found in this yellow circle by this tree. And Durk had unlimited lyrics about, hey, if you mess with us, you're going to be found dead by a tree. Remember this?
Gun for me. Better have your gun for them. You better have your gun for me. Better have your gun for Booney. Better have your gun for C. You don't believe me, you gonna see. You gonna end up by that tree.
Know that we did it.
But I got my gun for Boone. They call him Chief. Man, we should have killed him soon, cause he a thief.
You're gonna end up by that tree. What, this tree? This tree? That tree? That tree where the police are combing for evidence? Oh, you should have killed him sooner. You know that we did it. Okay. So Durk would basically come at Cash, right, a bunch of times. There's a bunch of little lyrics that are incriminating on Durk's behalf. Okay. Couple of lyrics come to mind. So this is a snippet, all right. I believe this was like a leaked snippet of a verse that would eventually be on his well, this was like a snippet called Obama that was meant to be on Almost Healed. But on this one, he got some lines where people think he's talking about him. He said, who gave you the info? I know that he's sick. Now, let me go back a line. He said, Ops got the call and they thought I was dead. Who gave you the info? I know that he's sick. Mention my brother, you die with a bitch. And that is apparently a direct reference to FBG Cash. Okay. So this is another Durk song called F You Thought. All right. And in this one, he said, died in front of your bitch. She could have shaved you. She could have saved you. She had a tampon. I'm the only reason you're alive. You better believe it. Okay. People believe that's a reference to Cash. It's very disrespectful. It's very out of line. And then this next Durk song, Never Imagined. Okay. He said, it costs a lot of money to get you done, knocked out of your shoes. Now, this came out after the murder of Lil Pab too. So he could have been referring to both of the murders. He could have been referring to just Cash. Both Lil Pab and FBG Cash were found dead without their shoes on. All right. And that's documented in mainstream media and news reporting. Okay. So look, I personally think Lil Durk is going to get charged with this eventually. I think he's done too much. He said too much. You can call me a snitch all you want, but how did I find this out? I'm just a little dork with the internet. All right. I'm not creeping around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting no inside info from Durk's camp. Doody Low hates me. He wants to fight me and shit. All right. Like, these guys hate me. They're trying to put me on the list. So if I completely separate, I don't got no inside knowledge, can get all of this information from Reddit and lyrics and all these things. Yes, I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. But what I am saying is this looks really bad. And I don't think he's going to have a good excuse for this. I don't think he's going to have a good argument for this. If a bag was dropped, were those guys really just killing Cash out of the fun of it for the love of the sport because they wanted to get him down? A bunch of O-Block shorties, TSG shorties who wasn't even around for the generation of FBG Cash? Or were they doing it because they knew there was a bounty, because they knew they were going to get paid? Cost a little money to get you done, knocked out your shoes. You know, they ain't even got to ask when it comes to Cash. Catch and blast his ass. All right. And so they removed the bounty from Durk's superseding indictment about Lil Pab. They basically said, don't worry about, the bounty. Bounty wasn't paid. The bounty is involvement in OTF. The bounty is lucrative music career opportunities. The bounty is Durk looking out. They ain't even got to ask about Cash. When it comes to, they ain't even got to ask about Cash when it comes to Cash to catch and blast his ass, right? So I think they'll be able to put this on Durk with real evidence. I don't think this crime is going to go unsolved. And I think that unfortunately for Durk, he has snitched on himself so much in his songs and his career and his interviews that I think the feds just need their time. And they're going to put all of this on him. And, you know, people are probably going to look back at a lot of the stuff that I've said and be like, oh, yeah, I guess he was talking a bit hot. Oh, yeah, I guess he did tell on himself. Okay, so look, is what it is. All right, I know there's going to be some mad OTF fanboys. All right, all this Doody Low going to be texting me and shit. But it is what it is. I think they're going to hit Durk with this extra murder. I think they're going to hit him with the third murder after they hit him with the Stefan Mack murder. And I think it's going to be bad. Okay, but I'll see you when they announce the superseding indictment. I will definitely be covering that. And I might be covering the trial. Anyway, I'll see you there. Peace.